If the radical left wins the culture wars, it will be an absolute catastrophe for Britain, and it is starting to look ever more likely. And it is not because they are winning, but because we are not standing up to them. We have let them take control of the narrative and the language. They've seized it now with both hands and are starting to steer us towards North Korea-style authoritarianism. It's heading that way in England. It's even worse in Scotland. The same is happening in all the English-speaking countries. This North Korean lady who escaped to America after living through unimaginable, heart-wrenching trauma said in her interview with Jordan Peterson she sees America going the same way as North Korea. She is seeing massive similarities between there and America as the radical left and its authoritarian ideology gains more control. It's the same in Canada and Britain. The problem is, most people just want a quiet life and will follow whatever the societal norms are just to get by. They'll keep their heads down and say nothing, or worse, go along with it for self-preservation and advancement. And who can blame them? Even massive corporations are going along with the woke narrative when they think it's good for business. The more control the woke types get, the more people will go along with it. It just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. This has been infinitely exasperated by the Conservative government here in Britain by allowing this mind virus to spread throughout every area of society. It's become so embedded in every area of society, it's going to be very hard to turn things around. And if they win, it will signal the end of our country as we know it, the end of our very way of life and culture. They will control not only what we can say, but what we can think, see, and hear. Whoever disagrees with them or has a different opinion will be silenced. It is clear to see this is already happening. Under their rule, our history will be destroyed and rewritten, and mass immigration will be forced upon us to an even larger degree. It will be complete chaos. We've seen all the disingenuous left-wing liars pretending cancel culture doesn't exist. Even more terrifying is they are now referring to it as accountability. They say things like freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences. What they really mean is we can't stop the words coming out of your mouth, but if we disagree with what you say, we'll end you. Under that logic, there is free speech under the Taliban. Here's Billy Bragg, who I recently learned is a singer-songwriter turned left-wing activist here in Britain. He's telling J.K. Rowling cancel culture is just accountability. Whether he believes it or is just parroting the latest fashionable phrase, I'm not sure. But he's justifying authoritarianism, and he's hiding it behind euphemisms like accountability. The movie Equilibrium with Christian Bale is about a totalitarian state that has banned anyone from feeling anything other than feeling love for the regime. Anyone caught feeling or showing any kind of natural human emotion is sentenced to death and burned alive in an incinerator as a form of capital punishment. The government controls the language, so they refer to the execution as sent for processing. It's not processing, it's state-sponsored murder. Just like cancel culture is not accountability, it's destroying someone's life and career for saying something they disagree with, something millions of people often think and know to be true. The trans debate is being hotly contested and we need to hear both sides of the story. Many of us know men can't have babies and men aren't women just because they say they are. The progressive left wants to believe otherwise, which is insane, but they are free to believe whatever nonsense they want. So we have to debate it. But these nutters don't want that. They want 1984. They want total control. Why have a debate you may potentially lose? Better to just use cancel culture and fear to silence your opponents. They want the truth to be whatever they say it is. We have to stand up and say, no, you don't get to tell me what I must think and say. But Bragg, like many others, also says J.K. Rowling is proof cancel culture doesn't exist. Again, absolute nonsense. The reason J.K. Rowling hasn't been cancelled is because she is J.K. Rowling. How on earth do you cancel the billionaire owner of Harry Potter? She makes lots of people lots of money. Though they might be able to in the future by seizing her assets and bank accounts, just like they did with the truckers in Canada. But for now, it's the financially vulnerable who are cancelled. It's the ordinary people that have their lives ruined because they didn't say or think the right thing. They are the ones fired from their jobs in an heartbeat with devastating consequences. If you threaten someone's ability to make a living, they will think twice about speaking out. This shows the level of nastiness and hatred these people have by thinking that not only is it acceptable, but deserved. Though we've seen people cancelled who luckily were in a financially stable position. Historian David Starkey, for example. We need to fight back against this madness because if we don't, we may end up living in a world where saying only women can have babies will be illegal. Any discussion about mass immigration will be completely banned. The truth will be whatever they say it is, and we will be made to believe it or else. A world where, under the rule of fear, everyone just says and thinks what they are told, and we will be told 2 plus 2 equals 5. The government will impose fearful obedience. No one will dare say what they really think. Just look at North Korea if you want to see what that kind of society looks like. It's a society where the calendar is based on the birth of its leader. A society where just about every draconian law you care to mention is imposed on the people with the explicit aim of maintaining complete unquestioned power and control. We've seen it in the past with many other totalitarian societies, books being banned and burnt, people flying the correct flags, making the correct gestures and saying the correct things, not necessarily because they believe it, but because they're terrified of the consequences if they don't. Think Mao's China, Stalin's Russia and Hitler's Germany. We are seeing the incipient signs. Just about every institution has been captured here in the UK. We have police arresting people for being offensive, officers now telling people to check their thinking, a National Health Service saying people get pregnant, not women, and all other manner of deranged madness. Make no mistake about it, authoritarianism is upon us.